As they're working their way up here, I remember the words of a Nobel Prize writer, Albert Camus, when he said, "Life is a sum of the choices." And I can't think of a more fitting title for someone who has given so much to this community, who has given so much to this orchestra in particular. And it is at this time that we are announcing the retirement of Mr. Dennis Dowell as a conductor of the Nauvoo Orchestra. He has given so much time and effort, and we're so grateful for him. I remember the first time that I met Dennis was about 10 years ago when my kids joined the band at the Nauvoo Elementary School. And I was impressed by his knowledge, but more than that, his desire to instill in the hearts and the minds of young people the love of music and the value that music can have in their lives. Now, if I could just ask Laurie to say a few words, and then Rick will also say a few words after that.
Well, I remember in the beginning when wanting to have a Nauvoo Orchestra, and I hope I don't cry through this. Dennis's name was the first one on my mind to ask to be our director. He had been in this community for so long, working with the students, and I knew that he would do a good job in this orchestra, and he has. And we're very thankful for him. Dennis will continue to direct the Nauvoo band in the summertime, and I want Dennis to know how much we love and care about him and for all that he's done for us. Thank you.
Well, Dennis, I have a little gift for you. But before I give you the gift, I just wrote something a little bit I wanted to read to you. And of course, this is with you in mind as this was written. The lights dim, a hush spreads throughout the audience. An anxious anticipation is felt in the air. Necks strain to catch a glimpse. Yet without fanfare or haughtiness, he humbly and gratefully appears on stage to once again work his magic. And with the wave of a baton and the healing influence of his presence, he opens up a world to mystify, satisfy, and to gratify even the hardest of hearts. Every eye is fixed upon his hand, every mind and every thought's desires to follow his direction with perfection. Not out of a sense of duty or of mandate, but from a sense of admiration, of trust, and of love. Dennis, we extend to you our deepest appreciation for the many years of service that you provided this community, for the example that you are, and how much we have all grown better because of you. Thank you so very, very much.
Would you care to say something?
I'm truly humbled. Thank you. I was looking for a job in 2002, and Maxine Dennison called me and said, "Would you come over and substitute at the grade school?" And I talked to my wife, Sue, and said, "Do you think it'd be all right?" I've been looking for 6 months, well, Schaefer Penn wasn't doing well at the time, as you know. And she said, "Yeah, sure, go ahead." So I did it for one day. And I told Maxine, I said, I can only do morning because I've got a dental appointment in the afternoon. She said, "That's all right, Junior, I can take care of themselves." And a week later she called and said, "Could you substitute for a week?" And I said, "Yeah, sure, no problem. I had a good time that last time." And 10 years later, I finally retired from teaching after a 42-year career of teaching in business. And I will always remember very fondly in my heart, and both of us will, those first few months here in Nauvoo, because I became gravely ill with a heart problem. And this community, instead of saying, well, sorry, see ya, did a nice little benefit and provided all sorts of cash for us to be able to make the trip to Mayo Clinic and make that a successful time. And ever since then, the community has been so supportive of me and my family, and Sue and me. We really, really appreciate it. Lori came and said, would you do the orchestra? I said, oh yeah, sure. My lifelong dream since I was a little kid, watching Leonard Bernstein on the TV doing young people's concerts, was someday I'm going to lead the New York Philharmonic. Well, they aren't the New York Philharmonic, but they're just as good a people. You won't find a nicer group of people, more willing to do what you ask them to do in music than these folks. They've just done a wonderful job, and it's been a real distinct pleasure to lead this group over the last several years. And I thank you very much for your musicianship, your love, and just your joy. Thank you. It's my distinct pleasure to recognize a person, we all know who that is, who really is the heart and soul of this organization, the person who has committed her life to making this thing work. Lori, get yourself up here, lady. Yes, I'm going to make you cry again. You made me cry. She makes this thing happen. She organizes it, she buys the music, she sorts the music, she puts it in folders, she calls people tirelessly. She's always asked, oh, do you play an instrument? Oh, you want to play in the orchestra? And that's how we have what we have here today, because of this lady's wonderful efforts. And this is just a little dinky, itsy-bitsy, small token of my great appreciation for her efforts to make this organization work the way it has. Thank you very much.
Welcome you.
There we go. I have sound now. You can hear me. Welcome to this evening, or this afternoon, to this Celtic Spring. It's a marvelous opportunity to get to know some of the Celtic music and the influence that it's had on the lives of the countries and the cultures of individuals. Tonight we'll begin by actually the finale of the Symphony No. 5 by Peter Tchaikovsky. I said that right. You know, it had been 10 years since he had written his 4th symphony before he wrote the 5th one. And that was in August of 1888. It learned little favor. This symphony is based on a reoccurring musical theme that is represented by his outlook in life. By then, his attitude to fate had softened somewhat, possibly to the rebirth of religious freedom. This finale is one of Tchaikovsky's most joyous and energetic symphonies, strongly colored with hearty flavors, dancing rhythm of Russian folk music. And now we present Symphony No. 5. next selection today is from Arthur Anderson. It's his Irish Suite, adapted by Douglas E. Wagner. Anderson is often referred to one of the greatest composers of the 20th century. He wrote many tunes for Broadway show tunes for Arthur Fielder and the Boston Pops, one of which was the Irish Suite, which was written in 11 days. It's drawn from familiar Irish folk music. It's in 6 movements. It presents a rich musical palette brimming with color and fresh invention. The first of which is the Irish Washerwoman, a double jig, followed by the Minstrel Boy, which is an Irish patriotic tune originally written by Thomas Moore. The third one is the Rakes of Mallow. It's a traditional, like a carousing song, so to speak. The fourth one is the Wearing of the Green, which is an anonymous Irish street ballad from around 1798. The next one is the Last Rose of Summer, based on another poem written by Thomas Moore in 1805. And finally, The Girl I Left Behind, a military march tune that was used by most British, American, and Irish soldiers. Irish Suite. We'll now hear a trio of Irish songs played by Leslie Graham on the accordion. The first is When Irish Eyes Are Smiling. It was originally written in 1912. Following that would be My Wild Irish Rose, written in 1899. Both of these songs are probably were penned by Chauncey Alcott. And they're probably two of the most well-known Irish songs. And we would also ask for your help as in singing in these two particular songs. You should have the words out there with you. So if you would join in singing those two. Following that one, the orchestra will join Leslie in the Mull of Kintyre, which is a song written by Paul McCartney of Beatles fame and Danny Lane. And that Celtic tune is written in tribute to the picturesque Kintyre Peninsula in Scotland. It was a home of McCartney for many years. He's owned a home there since 1966. And he explains, he says it was really a love song that he had written about Scotland, and about his love for Scotland. So we'll go ahead and begin with that. me by the Nauvoo Quartet. The first one is the Lady Magdalena Palmer by William Marshall, arranged by Tony Kine. William Marshall is regarded as one of the greatest composers of Scottish fiddle music. Marshall was born in Foxbear, Scotland, and went into service as the Duke of Gordon. And many of the compositions that he did were regarding those who were guests of the Duke. This one in particular is for the second daughter of the fourth Duke and Duchess of Gordon, the Lady Magdalena Gordon, who later became the Lady Magdalena Palmer. This is a delightful Strathspey, a traditional Scottish dance style. Following that, they will play Mrs. Roy of Nanthorn's Favourite by Robert McIntosh, also arranged by Tony Kine. They used to refer to him as Red Rod because of the color of his hair. But he's known for many great, wonderful reels, jigs, and Strathspeys.